Welcome back to PlayStation Corner. My name is Alex and today we're going to be taking a look at the long-awaited Biomutant on the PlayStation 4 and 5. The question though with this one, has it been worth the wait, or has this one overpromised and under-delivered all these years later? Well, hit subscribe, join our growing PlayStation family, and let's get started. So before we do start this, a shout out to the team for supplying this review copy of Biomutant, and at their request we will only be showing footage from the first 4 hours of the game and up to level 12 as a character. Trust me here though when I do say a lot can happen in 4 hours. With that though, let's start with story. So here we find ourselves in a post-apocalyptic world. The signs of prior life, that is for sure, but this isn't the usual brown and grey you may be used to. Instead, think here lush forests and vegetation and wildlife that has basically reclaimed this world. What caused this? Oil and disaster, and along the way it not only kind of reshaped what this world would become, but also spat out more than a few strange creatures and mutants that kind of create the population. The big issue though, it's actually impacted the world's life source, the Tree of Life, and now the player must decide either save this life source or be a hand in letting it fall to what are known as world eaters. They're basically these towering beasts that are like on a path of destruction. Alongside this main arc then we get a story of warring factions, each with their own ideas, as well as your character's kind of past. Of course then there's also a ton of side quests, and they actually add a lot of personality to this game thanks to the huge cast we get to meet. From the game's opening moments though, with its often like hilarious character creator and some of the assaults you can make, the game makes it very clear decisions here, they make an impact, and what this adventure looks like is very much down to you. I enjoyed the story though, and for the most part it was for sure just kind of different. The characters, they're likeable, and it's a case of the story can be as high level or as detailed as you want it to be, thanks to just information that's kind of like scattered around the world and all these different branching dialogue options. It's absolutely worth though having these extended conversations and doing that exploring, because the game just then tops it all off with a solid sense of humour as well. So Biomutant, it's an open world action RPG, meaning not only do we get some good old like hack and slash action and gunplay in fact, but a ton of RPG systems as well. Gonna tell you now, Biomutant, it's not shy and it does not hold back when it comes to just the sheer number of systems at play at any one time. Like any good action RPG though, it kind of sets you on a path, a main quest line to follow, but quickly into this adventure it's gonna try and talk you into different side quests and just even trying to tempt you to explore simply out of curiosity. I'll put my hands up, it got me on more than a few occasions to just kind of get lost in its world as it dropped these breadcrumbs at my feet, and I was too polite to say no. The action side of the gameplay though, it's exploration, platforming, and then of course that combat. I've heard references here to Devil May Cry out there, and if you go in with that expectation, you're going to be a little disappointed. It's a whole lot of fun, don't get me wrong, but it's not got that pace, it's not that responsive, and it's definitely not that fiscal. It's a simple enough system, honestly, of balancing weapon types close quarters and ranged with parry defensive mechanics. What you start the game with combat wise though, like most things here, it's going to be very different to the badass warrior you will be by the end game as you kind of unlock these new attacks, combos, wung fu, and essentially then special attacks. That's still just the beginning as well. You can expect perks, so think buffers, like my favourite was regenning health in battle quicker. You can add mutations, like ones which set fire to anywhere you dash, and you even have an aura system, so think good or evil, the decisions you make, the actions you take impact this, but that will actually like shape the world around you. The only thing I will say on the aura system though, the game's explanation of this system, it is a little weak. So if you're wondering then how do you unlock all these different moves or upgrades, add-ons, the game actually has 3 different point types. That's upgrades, bio and side points as well. I actually think here that's a good example of where they could have maybe streamlined the game just a little bit, because it can be a little like overwhelming having almost what we'd call 3 different currencies. You know, you've got to work out how to achieve them and unlock them, and they're so essential to the gameplay. I mean, alongside all of this as well, that's just kind of like the beginning. You can still level up your character, you can customize your clothing and armor, or even craft new clothing entirely. You can then even craft new weapons. It actually, on that note, took me a good while to get to weapon crafting. I'm going to tell you now, now, do not skip that like me initially. It is seriously deep and seriously rewarding, you know, creating these, you know, Frankenstein weapons. I just think though, yeah, like overall they could have been maybe a tiny bit more aggressive on the cutting room floor, so to speak. The world then is expansive, and its approach to post-apocalyptic I really liked. It's not just the colour palette choice here, but the small hints of the previous human civilization, you know, recognisable alongside almost alien. For me, that sign of human life, it made me want to explore. I wanted to see what things had almost become and how the surrounding area was impacted. Like, let's say electrical towers, you're going to see that a lot, simple things. But I headed towards them plenty of times. In the game, it revealed some fun twists that I definitely won't spoil. The world isn't one, however, filled with, you know, collectibles. Everything you find here can be summed up for the most part as loot or character enhancing. And I like that, whether it's something I could, you know, trade at a store or use in my next equipment adaptation. It wasn't just kind of gameplay for the sake of gameplay. It wasn't just simply a padding mechanic. And every trip that I made, it made them feel actually important. Around this world then, there's not only a ton of friendlies to talk to, plenty of dialogue in this game by the way, with tons of dialogue options, but then there's also a ton of mutant enemies and 5 competing tribes as well. They come in all shapes and sizes, and a big goal here is to defeat the other tribes, or at least bring them around to your way of thinking. Again though, you choose what you do alongside that main quest, so what you see, it may be very different to what I see. You know, I chose to dive into a lot of like what are essentially dungeons because I was trying to find hints that pushed my knowledge of this world's story forward. If you're wondering about how you get around this world as well, you know, that seems like a whole lot of walking, and I'd have to agree. The game quickly opens up a fast travel system and a map to guide you on your way. Not only that though, but actually you're going to see things like oil that will drown you and water that also quickly kills you, but the game's going to introduce you to things like mounts, mech suits and a watercraft in the early game. It not only adds for a little variety, but these moments are absolutely like just a blast to play. Problems though, and unfortunately I do have a few. Some of the missions too repetitive, especially taking out other factions. That is a major plot point of the game, but it can essentially be summed up as go here, take over this base, and yeah, that gets old very quickly. I also never felt like the game captured the high stakes of what it would truly be like to take out, you know, a foe's location. Instead it might throw maybe 5 or 6 enemies at me and that was it. Then the AI, it's not smart at all. For the most part, this one's playing on the idea of simply overwhelming you with too many enemies. Also, I personally didn't really like the parry system all that much. I would have preferred a simple block mechanic attached to the stamina bar at the top of the screen. This though is currently only used for special attacks, so don't worry if you're thinking it's about to go all Dark Souls on you. Also, the game overall is set in a pattern of want a new mission, go here, kill this, and I think they should have maybe lent into the platforming just a little bit more because it's actually very good, and I think they could have thrown maybe a little more challenge our way using it. On that challenge as well, the World Eaters, just a little bit easy in my opinion, and there's a few repetitive moments that do get annoying, like the first one, the only one I'm showing you in this video. It keeps on swallowing you, kind of spitting you back out, and you just have to kind of repeat the same moment over and over again. 2 final issues then. The opening of the game, it is slow. We all know now this has this huge kind of beautiful open world to explore that opens up to the player. Instead though, for the first hour or so, it opens with this linear dungeon that seems like a waste and a bit of a weak first impression. You know, we've got all this like lush green ahead of us. Instead we're kind of exploring grey corridors. Fortunately though, I will say an hour in, it all opens up and it's quickly forgotten. Finally, the camera. This is a third-person action kind of fast-paced game, and alongside that comes a camera that can go at moments just a little bit crazy. You know, it's nothing new honestly, just something that comes with the genre. Overall though, still, even with these problems, I would consider, you know, a good chunk of them minor. I still had a very good game and I actually really enjoyed it. It for sure over-delivered on what I expected from its gameplay, and especially the RPG side of things, which is absolutely a compliment. It's also exciting because with all of these options now, I just see the countless opportunities to go back, revisit it, and to not only try, you know, new weapons, but actually mainly I want to see how the attributes of my character impact my strategy. So graphically, it's honestly good, but not amazing. The world is beautiful, no question about it. The way they've built this world, it leads to some stunning scenery and vistas to explore. And again, that colour palette, super vivid, and that is just refreshing. The characters as well, the animations, I really like, especially in combat. And it also then has this good mix of kind of exterior and interior locations to explore. This one, it relies on its in-game engine mostly for cutscenes and, you know, those dialogue moments, and that's a very bold thing to do. The problem this one has though, the cutscenes never quite match the epicness of the scenario. There's this great opening moment, for example, as you boot up the game, and Biomutant struggles to ever really match that kind of cutscene again. Likewise with cutscenes, characters are typically just static talking back and forth, and they've used this almost weird blurred background bokeh effect that I get is supposed to be kind of stylistic, kind of comes off a little bit cheap sadly. The problems do continue for me then as well with the graphics. Enemies, especially opposing factions, they are repetitive. And then technically, on a PS5, this one it does struggle. We all know this is not a PS5 build of the game, but it's upscaled to 4K. There is still though the occasional frame rate drop here and there and kind of stutters. And there's also quite a bit of pop-in in the distance, which is especially noticeable with shadows. Again, like, it's not a bad looking game at all, but it's also far from the best looking game out there. Audio finally, and I loved it. The music is great in here, and I hope it sees a standalone release. I would grab that just absolutely immediately. The weapons, they all sounded decent, even if the guns, some of them can sound a little bit weird at times, but for the most part, it's good stuff. The real winner though here, it's got to be the voice acting, as characters, they speak this unknown language. So what we get here is a narrator who translates and kind of comments on our actions as we go. It's fantastic feeling, almost like, I think, classic animation, like C-3PO translating for R2-D2, and it's also got this sarcastic sense of humour at times, and yeah, the delivery is up there for me with some of the very best. At first as well, I feared it would actually maybe, you know, slow the pace of the game down, waiting for the alien-like language before the translation. And I can tell you now, from beginning to end, this did not get old. And I think it's one of the smartest moves they did, because it's just a great way to present that story. So the final verdict, and I think right now one of the weakest elements of this one, it's got to be the graphical side of things. That popping was unexpected. It's a little bit repetitive with enemies for its own good, and I would like to see them kind of get out there and get this kind of fixed up. Topping off the problems though, then we have things like systems. They all work, there's just maybe, you know, too many of them for the game's own good. It's just a whole lot of good ideas right now, and I think they could have maybe cut some of them out with no noticeable difference and made them incredible systems. That said though, I still had a really fun time with this one. The combat is fun once you kind of get to grips with it. The world is a pleasure to explore, and the story, genuinely, it is unique and interesting. The passion though, it's absolutely here from the devs behind it. There's no question about it. That is on show from the second the game begins, and I think the best way I can describe Biomutant, honestly, it has its problems, but it has a ton of heart as well, and that heart, it makes those problems very easy to forgive. A good 7 out of 10 from me, and I'm happy to say it was worth the wait, and I can't wait to see now where they will go next and how they now update it for next gen. Hopefully though, whatever comes next, we won't have to wait quite this long again. Thanks for watching. Will you be adding this one to the library, or is this one simply not for you? With that though, like, hit subscribe, join our growing PlayStation family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.